Forewarn these people, if this takes as long as criminal justice is gonna start throwing things at you.
The chairman of this committee knows how to more efficiently run a committee with his length of expertise. All right, now it is 1 o'clock on Thursday, June 5th. I call to order the IT and Equalization Committee meeting to order. I trust you've had an opportunity to read the minutes of May 1st, 2025. If so, I entertain a motion to approve those.
Moved.
Support.
Moved by Collins, supported by Tillotson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have approved the minutes. Now on to our IT department, finance report.
Good afternoon. You have the IT division of the capital fund before you in your packet, and you will see various capital projects that are open within that division. And you have a balance available for future projects at just under 167,000. I will attempt to answer any questions should you have them.
Any questions of the finance report? Hearing none, seeing none. On to the IT report. Director.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For our Cisco access point replacement project, we had our kickoff meeting with the vendor, and the equipment of our wireless access points is scheduled to be delivered tomorrow, Friday, June 6th. And the next steps will be scheduling the configuration of those devices and then scheduling to replace the existing old devices and installing them. The other capital projects that we have, I don't have anything new unless you have any questions on those.
Any questions of Director Ricker on the IT report? Hearing none, seeing none. We have one request before us.
We do. We have a request. You have a request before you for the Cisco Call Manager server, which is kind of the foundation of the county's communication infrastructure, voicemails, phone calls, things of that nature. Currently, it will be at the end of life and end of support in August, the end of August of this year. This creates a lot of difficulties for the county, security vulnerabilities, operational issues, technical support issues, part support issues. So should we have any issues with that, the call manager server, and we won't have any kind of support, tech support, or, part support, if you will, and that could essentially shut down communication within internal communication and external communication for the county. So the request before you is to approve a fund allocation to replace the current Cisco call manager in the amount of $23,440 to come from the contingency division of the capital fund.
So moved.
Moved by Tillotson, supported by Collins. Any discussion? Mr. Van Dorn.
And what's the balance of that contingency fund?
I do not have that on me, but I could look that up for you.
That's okay.
I would also say that there is $20,000 budgeted into the approval that you give IT originally for the capital fund. Mr. Ricker does build in a $20,000 contingency to his overall capital fund.
Any additional questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The same sign. Motion carries. On to communications.
Good afternoon. The report is in your packet. I'm just going to do a few quick highlights. On our website, we had last month alone, our monthly users were a little over 24,000. On social media, our impressions were up, but our engagement was down a little bit compared to the same time last year. So I went back and looked at what happened last year during the same time period. And it's when we had the Erase the Stigma event, and we took that picture out in front of the courthouse, and that got a lot of engagement. So that tells me we need to make sure we do that next year. As far as that, all the other information is in your packet. The only other thing I want to highlight is on the video performance. Those numbers went up again. The total views for the last month were close to 13,000.
Oh.
Which is quite a bit. Everything else is pretty much status quo, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Jennifer? In status quo, she means the numbers are very much improved year over year, and so great job, Jennifer. All right, on to equalization, the equalization report.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So for the equalization reports, right now, I have submitted the 4028 and the 4028 ICs, which is the millage reduction fractions. The IC was for the inter-county ones for the jurisdictions that are between multiple counties. The summary personal property report's been submitted. I have ran the 4014A, which is a list of the properties for our studies. I've not submitted it into Meg yet. I just want to verify that it's pulled the correct ones from the list that I have. Also, the 4027I, which is just a plan of study that gets submitted to the state. I'm working on that. Those are both due the end of June. Studies, they have started working on the parcels out in the field, doing this field work and entry. I am running the sales database to create for the state. And then for taxes and everything, I'm working on those. There should be to the printers on Monday for those that we send to the printers. I'm still waiting for one of the L4029s for the millage to calculate taxes for 7 townships that school district is in. And then I'll print the village tax bills for the few villages that don't use our mailing service. And then for our assessing, they have done the field work for the sales through the first part of the year. And now they're working on more current sales and the partials and the building permits for our units. That was all I have. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Any questions? Administrator Murphy.
Not so much a question. It's more of a statement. As you guys know, when we go through the budget process annually, one of the big things that we have to do is to try to project revenue into the next year. A big portion of the county's revenue is property taxes. And in the past, Ms. DeLong has not necessarily been part of the actual budget team so much as she's been a reference we'd call and say, hey, does it sound right? So this year I've incorporated her onto the team. So she is meeting with us when we start talking about budget and revenues and stuff so that she's more hands-on with that portion of what's going on in the county. So I just wanted to let you know that there had been that change.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any additional questions? The equalization report. All right, moving along. Is there any other business before this committee? Any other business? Administrator Murphy.
The next meeting of the IT Equalization Committee is on July 3rd, at which we discussed at another meeting about the possibility of do we want to keep the meeting or do we want to postpone the meeting and have it at a call of the chair? So I just wanted to present that to this committee to find out if there was any decision right now on the direction you would like to go.
Any direction?
I have no problem with canceling meeting, to call the chair if there's anything comes up.
Any reports? All right, we will not cancel the meeting for January or July 3rd, but we will postpone the meeting of July 3rd to a later date, the following month.
You hold 2 meetings in one?
No. Appreciate that. All right, that sounds great. Any other business? Any other business? Any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion by Collins, supported by Tillotson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.